The total population in these towns, these small towns, is about 30 million people. Demographically, a fairly small percentage. Culturally, huge. We are a nation that started as a nation of small towns. For much of our history, we have been a culture of small towns. Small towns are still very much in our consciousness.
What's ahead for small towns?
Well, a lot of people have predicted the death of small towns. It is true that many small towns are declining, especially if they've already become quite small or already were declining. My view is a little bit more mixed than that. There is also a lot of social resilience in small towns. A town of anywhere from 2,000 to 5,000 people up to 10,000 people is likely to do pretty well. I would predict that in the next 10 years or 20 years, there will still be at least 30 million people living in small towns.
Are people in small towns a lot different from people who don't live in small towns?
It is true that people in small towns are more likely to vote Republican than people in cities, and more likely to be conservative on a lot of social issues such as abortion, homosexuality, and so forth that might influence how they vote. That was one main conclusion. The second main conclusion, though, was that when they actually get to talk in their own words about how they think, they're usually in the middle of the road, and they're usually very complex in their understanding of these issues.
What helps small towns succeed?
Well, what helps a lot is where they're located. But then there are some things we found that can actually make a difference. Leadership makes a difference. A lot of these towns have a very strong sense of civic pride, community involvement. They put on festivals, they attract tourists, and then especially if they have some professional leadership, they're able to attract small businesses, sometimes small manufacturing plants. They're increasingly relying on the internet, on technology, on the fact that people can get inexpensive housing and still commute to a larger place.
So why does all of this matter for those of us who don't live in small towns?
My main hope in doing this project was, first of all, to encourage greater understanding of the variety of small towns, the complexity of small towns, and secondly, to engender a certain degree of respect so that there was an appreciation of what small towns have to offer.